What's up gamers, welcome back to my channel. If you are looking to dominate the battlefield in World of Tanks, you've come to the right place. In today's video, I'm going to cover some simple yet effective tips to help you play better and crush your opponent. Okay, so tip number one, we're going to dive into a powerful tool that can take your gameplay to the next level. Tanks GG, whether you are a seasoned veteran or if you're just starting out, this website is a goldmine of information to help you become more knowledgeable and a skilled player. First things first, let's talk about tank stats. Tanks GG provides detailed information on every tank in the game, from the armor thickness to the penetration values and more. Understanding the stats and how tanks' armors are laid out is pretty crucial for making decisions on whether to fire at a tank or not, or if you think that you can penetrate or even overmatch, which is a pretty good mechanic in the game if you know what thickness of the armor is. By comparing different tanks side by side, you can identify strengths and weaknesses, helping you to choose the right tank for how you want to play and the tanks that you're going up against. Whether you prefer heavy armor or higher alpha damage, Tank GG will show you what they are. But wait, there's more. The armor model viewer on Tanks GG allows you to inspect the armor layout of any tank in this game. This tool I find to be the most useful to pinpoint weak spots and kind of plan my shots more effectively. The amount of times, and you can go back to this at any point you need to. I go back to it sometimes during a battle. I will come up against a hold down tank and I'm like, how the hell am I going to penetrate this? I literally in the middle of the game will pull up Tanks GG, go to the armor model and literally just find a little weak point and think, well, that's the only way I'm going to take him out. I shall aim at that. So even if you are a skilled player or if you are completely new, going onto this, learning the stats, trying to remember as much as you possibly can, being more knowledgeable is going to make you the better player. Okay, and for tip number 2, I recommend playing the same tank role. For instance, play a light tank, play another game in a light tank. Don't go light tank, heavy, medium, tank destroyer, artillery. Because your brain is going to get so confused if you're a new player trying to play. As I've got light tank gameplay on here. As you can see, I am just sitting here, not firing, waiting for everybody to do stuff. And now I've got some heavy tank gameplay where constantly firing, going in and out, checking positions. It's a lot more hectic, it's not more thought process, but you're going to find it a lot easier to just go heavy tank, know that you're playing in a heavy tank, and it's just easier to think and easier to process the information. If you know you're in a light tank, your light tank is going to be no armor, you're spotting, you've been sneaky, you've been careful. In a heavy tank, you're going to be there dealing out the damage and putting out a world of hurt. Okay, and for tip number 3, the server reticle. I can't explain how actually important the server reticle actually is until I started using it probably when I came back, so it was about 6 months ago, so shout out to kajzoo. Thank you for pointing it out. It does actually save you quite a lot. So for instance, I have turned it off right now and you can see how quick. So the gun basically follows the turret. It will move as fast as the turret does with no lag. So if you do that and fire, you see how it fired in there? If I do it again, it's always dead instant to where it goes. But it's still over there. Come onto your settings, go onto this, go onto general, find battle interface, scroll down until you find enable server reticle. Hit apply, and now all of a sudden you'll see that there's a bit of lag to it, even when going really slow, because that is where the server is actually seeing your reticle. How about we see it in action against the EBR? As you can see, the server reticle is lagging slightly behind, but on the EBR. The same with when you were coming around, say, corners for instance. You would peek out, and you'd come out, and you'd do that, and you'd hit the wall. Well, why would you hit the wall? Because you don't have the server reticle on. Your brain will adjust to it as you go, and now you know you're there. So I find the server reticle being the most helpful thing. So that is tip number 3. Make sure you get on the settings and enable that server reticle. Okay, so for tip number 4, it's going to be getting that early game damage, which is sort of 2 to 3 shots, 4 shots, depending on your type of tank. So you want to be able to get into a position and fire 2 to 3 shots into the enemy, getting that early game damage. Obviously, if you're an autoloader like this in the Skoda T50, then you can fire off an entire clip, pull out, and you're going to be at 1,000 odd damage. Okay, so here is another clip from earlier today from my Twitch live stream showcasing early game damage, as well as 2 other people who also had the exact same idea as me, and you can see how it can actually affect the team tremendously as we both, or all 3 of us, peek over and take out nearly a full tier 10 heavy tank, which will allow us to hopefully win the heavy tank flank. Okay, so tip number 5 is your mini map. Your mini map is down right in the bottom right hand corner. Do not have it as small as this. You want it as big as possible, so hit that plus button inside the game and make it as big as possible. Also, at the same time, go to settings, scroll down all the way until you hit minimap. When you find the minimap, turn all of these on, as they are these rings here. So you've got the proximity circle, which is this little one here. This is your proximity circle. That's everything within 50 meters, which is very, 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 very useful if you are a light tank. This one, the green one, that is your spotting as your vehicle. So your vehicle will spot up to whatever this green line is. So anything in there you could spot potentially, depending on their camo rating. The white one is the maximum viewing distance. So anything beyond that white line you cannot spot no matter what. And then you have the orange/yellow line. The yellow line is the render distance. So anything within that you can see. Anything outside of that shown on the mini map you won't be able to see, but you can still damage it up to a certain distance. Now I will show you the proximity circle and how the proxy spotting works. Proxy spotting is up to 50 meters. So anything within 50 meters you can spot it automatically regardless of where anything is. Okay, so as you can see, they are currently spotted. They've pulled back behind the rock and they will no longer be spotted. Now watch this little circle. If I drive up to it, even though I can't see them, they are still spotted because they are within 50 meters. They are 49 meters. If I pull back a bit, that's 50 meters. They will be spotted. If I pull back to 51 and count 1, 8, 9, 10, they're gone. Move forward a tiny bit and they're spotted again. So that is how the proxy spotting works. Okay, so tip number 6 would be trade in your favor. So you are a heavy tank currently. You have a pool of HP. Now, I've come out to here. Okay, so he's done 356 damage. So by trading in your favor, this is what I mean. I've now done 538 damage. So if we trade it again, that's 417 damage, 574 damage. So in this case, we've done 2 trades of 356, 417, 538, and 574. Now, if we trade with him again, that's another 387, and guess what? We stick in, even with a big old low roll, from 560. We haven't even hit, we've only hit it once. 387, and I hit him for 420. So we're out trading this guy, and we win. Just by trading with a higher alpha damage. We didn't bounce anything. There was no bouncing involved. That was just pure trading straight up, straight up. Yes, that was a tier 9 heavy tank, but it shows you what you can do if you're above and a top tier tank. If you're a top tier tank, what you want to do is use some of that, and you could effectively, you could bounce more shells. So I got them firing heat at me so they didn't bounce, just so we could have a straight up trade war. Okay, and for tip number 7, which will be the final tip, is crews. Now, crews play quite an important role. There is going to be some slight change coming with crews, as for instance, these all say 111, 122, which is affected by certain pieces. Whereas if you come to a fresh tank that I've just got, the commander is 93%, and this bumps them up to 93, but 102 as well with the commander. But the red is going. Everybody will start with 100% crew, I believe. I believe that is what they were doing at the time of making it. So this will change. So you should just be able to start with 100% crew with no penalties, and you'll start making crew skills straight away. So this is my CS52 list, which is a premium Polish tank, which is my most played tank currently. And I've got up to 5 skills on it. So different crew skills will do different things. So I have Brothers in Arms, which gives you 5% across all stats, basically. So all the way along here gets affected. So if you come to here, you can see crew perks, 52. So you get extra 52 damage per minute from just Brothers in Arms, and 63 from vents. And if you come to something like, let's go and find a light tank. Where are my light tanks? You will want camo, because without camo, you'll be down here. You'll be losing loads of concealment. So plus 15% on from 42 would be down way back down there at like 28% sort of way. And you also get Brothers in Arms because that boosts everything as well. And then stuff like situational awareness. There are websites out there that you can use to kind of see which skills to use on what. But it does definitely depend on what tank you've got. I will do a separate video on crew skills, but I'm going to hold off until they've put the new one in, because I just feel like if I do it now, and then I'm really going to have to do another one in a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so time. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, and for a quick summary of the entire video is one small kind of final tip slash not really a trick, but if you are going to spend any money on the game, if it's not going to be like, I'd just get bonds and then go and get yourself like the Patriot or something like that, which I already have a video on. The best thing you can actually buy is the Battle Pass. I believe it goes for about 3 months, which gives you all of these different chapters. And in those chapters, you get things for free, and you get all of these below on top. And I think it costs about £19, probably 20-25 euros, sort of thing like that, probably $20 as well. So it's around that mark, but it lasts for 3 months. So it's about 10 a month if you kind of work that out. But you can get massive premium day. I think you can get sort of 47 or something days like that, and you get more tokens, so you can get different tanks from the Battle Pass. So it's kind of like a tip, but it's just like, if you're going to buy something from the game, that's probably what I would do. That's probably your best bet of getting the most value for money. So the summary of this is tip 1, use Tank GG for armor profiles, tank stats, tank weaknesses, weak spots on tanks. Tip number 2 is play the same style of tank. Try and play a couple of heavies and then swap. Try not to go from one to the next to the next, like backwards and forwards between heavies and lights. You'll get confused. I've done it before. I've gone to a heavy position in my light tank and then thought I'm in the wrong tank. Tip number 3 is enable the server reticle. So get on the settings, go down to the bottom right, server reticle, enable it. It will take a couple of days to get used to it if you have been playing a long time, but it will help you in the long run. You'll become a better player from it. Tip number 4 is early game damage. Try and get 2, 3, 4 shots off, depending on your tank, in the early game. One that's going to boost your damage, it's going to boost your spots, you're going to see more people where they're going and who you're going to come up against, and you're just going to be up on HP. Tip number 5, trade in your favor. Actually, I think tip number 5 is the minimap. Use the minimap. It is literally the best thing. You can plan where people are going, you can predict where people are going to be. Literally one of the most best things, and people aren't using it. You can use it to line up shots, use it to line up blind fire. Tip number 6 is trade in your favor. So if you've got a higher alpha damage gun, trade into your favor. Don't peek. against a 60 TP, taking 750 average damage, when you're only going to be in a E75 dealing 560. You're going to lose. Even though you're a tier below, you're going to lose regardless. Your alpha damage is a lot less. Unless you can get 2 shots in at once. And tip number 7 comes back to your crews, setting your crews up, specifically for which tank you have, which, like I said, there are websites that you can use that will assist you on kind of what to use. There's kind of a basic you can put, like, you know, situational awareness and snapshot and things like that onto tanks that are mobile, and you'll kind of get a quick guide on what they are. They're not too difficult to pick up. So if you enjoyed the video or if it's helped you, please leave a like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs by sort of June, so we've got about 2 months. We're 3 months from yesterday is when my goal is. 3 months from yesterday to hit 1,000 subs, so we are about 700 away. So a big push is what I'm going to try and do. It's a giant push to try and get that. So if everybody can hit the sub button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Go down to the comments. The algorithm apparently likes that, and I reply to every single comment there is. If you don't have anything, just leave an emoji and I'll leave you one back. But until next time,